Welcome to the Hockey Writers What's Kraken, a weekly show with our top Seattle Kraken writing crew, bringing you the latest news, rumors, trades, player grades, game results, and much more. From training camp to the playoffs, from the first ever puck drop to their future rivalries, our team covers everything that happens with the Kraken. So sit back, relax, and get ready to find out what's Kraken.
Welcome to the THW What's Kraken show, hosted by me, Tom Pepper, Sean Raggio, and Adam Kierszenblat. Presented by the Hockey Writers, we talk Seattle Kraken hockey every week on iHeartRadio, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to check out our written work at thehockeywriters.com and follow the show on Twitter, our new account, at What's Kraken Show, as well as our personal account, at Tom Pepper, at Raggio9124, and at Adam K. Blatt. So we are here and we have hockey to talk about this time. So this is extremely exciting. This is the 10th episode now. So we've just gone 9 episodes without even seeing this team play a regular season game yet. But history has been made. So this is going to be a fun show. But before that, how are you guys doing? How are you, Sean?
I'm doing pretty good. I got the itch. It's fully in. Watching so much hockey. I was playing pickup the last couple days. Hurting today. Clearly not the best in shape right now, so I got to get back to it. But between hockey and a couple of my friends have been playing gigs the last couple nights, it's been a great couple days for me. Adam, how you feeling?
I'm good. In case you haven't noticed, I do like the Vancouver Canucks, and we witnessed Tyler Myers just absolutely blow up Duncan Keith, which was, for people who don't realize, this was a hit, 11 years in the making. Duncan Keith and almost basically destroyed Daniel Sedin's career. Or sorry, it was 9 years in the making. He basically destroyed Daniel Sedin's career with a flying elbow. And it was just great to see. I'm not a huge advocate for fighting, obviously, but you know what? Tyler Myers, if he does it again when Vancouver plays Edmonton in Vancouver, statue going up, jersey retired right there on the spot. I don't think people realize, outside of the Vancouver market, how big that hit was. Everybody's just going to be like, oh, it's a huge hit. It's no. That had context to it. Even the mascot of the Vancouver Canucks posted a photo with Daniel and Henrik Sedin, and the tagline was, "Who buys Myers lunch?" There's context to this, and it was just beautiful to see.
Oh, man. Well, there's exciting times everywhere, I guess, right now. Seattle had a rough game tonight, but should we just get into it here? We've played 4 games. How am I?
Yeah.
I'm doing well. I've been on reading week. My Nana's still over from England, so got to spend some time with her. I had dinner with her last night, and just had a pretty chill week. Not a ton going on.
Hi, Nana.
All right, let's jump into it then. So first 4 games of Seattle Kraken history are in the books. So first game, of course, was a 4-3 loss to Vegas in regulation. That was a thriller. That was Vegas went up 4-0, but Vegas went up 3-0, and Seattle climbed back to make it 3-3, and then a controversial goal off Chandler Stevenson's foot gave Vegas the win there. And then they went on to Nashville for their first franchise win in history, a 4-3 W. Then 2-1, unfortunate overtime loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. They almost had it, but a late goal there in the third, and the Blue Jackets finished it off in OT. And then just tonight, while we're recording this episode, a 6-1 loss to the Flyers. So a little bit of a downhill here, but I'll go to you guys and get your thoughts on this. How have the Kraken played in your eyes? I'll go to you first, Sean.
Emotionally, I think for the most part, they've been there. I mean, they've been fun to watch, which is a big green check mark emoji for me. I think that, high flying, one of the most physical teams out there, led by Turbo Tanev, apparently goal scoring extraordinaire. I don't know. I think he's going to be chasing down Matthews and Ovechkin for the Maurice Richard. Anyone? Any takers?
We'll see.
I think you mean Tyler Bertuzzi.
Oh, yeah. He's looking good out there. But I definitely think that it's really what was it, 15 goals against in 4 games, completely opposite of what we were projecting, them being a defensive-minded, defensive-first team. But what bothers me the most is they were scored on first in 3 games out of the 4, and all of them came within the first 10 minutes. And you don't want those starts. Even when they look good, it just takes the wind out of your sails. And I think 2 of them were within the first 5 minutes, if my memory serves me. Just you take all the wind out of your sails with that, and it's going to be a lot harder to get back in. They did it against Vegas, but you can't rely on that. Grubauer standing on his head every night. It's just not going to work.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, Adam? How have they played in your eyes?
Well, I think the proper term for tonight was a shellacking, 6-1. You know, they weren't even outshot that bad. They were outshot 27-24. But I think I saw a tweet that at one point when the Kraken had allowed their 12th goal of the season, that 6 of the 12 goals had been high danger scoring chances. It's like you can't win that way where you're giving up constant high danger chances. And it's like Grubauer, yes, he has an 867 save percentage around there, depending on tonight. But he's played well enough to keep him in games. And the problem is that when Seattle goes down, 3-0 or 2-0, they don't really have the horses with Yanni Gourde out to keep up with that. So it's problematic. But what we also have to remember is that they played 4 games in 3 different time zones, and they haven't had a home game in their own arena ever yet. So this is a new team that's feeling out everything. They were given kind of a tough go with their first 5 games on the road. They're playing again tomorrow. We'll see who gets the net, if it's Driedger or Grubauer, because Driedger played, I think, more than Grubauer today by like a minute or 2. But yeah, we'll see it. And it's funny that we mentioned controversial because now Seattle fans have something to complain about already. Yes, it was not a goal. Even the people on the telecast said it was not a goal. Everybody was confused by it. If this was WHL rules, it would make it a lot more easier because it would just been like not even a question that it's no goal. But we'll see how Seattle bounces back. New Jersey isn't the toughest of competition tomorrow, so hopefully they can bounce back. But we have no idea what this team is capable because they played 4 games.
Mm-hmm. It is still very early, and I really like the point you brought up about 3 different time zones in their first 4 games. That is a tough road trip to start on, and it's crazy because the first 3 games they almost all felt like playoff games in my eyes. There was extremely high intensity, there was a lot of physicality, lots of speed, and they were like Sean said earlier, they're a very fun team to watch. Not as much tonight against the Flyers, bit of a beating. But it's another thing that's interesting to note here is the only goal scorers for Seattle so far through 4 games are Tanev, McCann, Donato, Wenberg, Geeky, and Susie. So there's some guys in there who you'd probably expect would have had one by now, like Schwartz and Eberle, for example. Eberle's had a lot of chances. Surprising he hasn't been able to get it in the back of the net yet. But I think there's a lot more to come for the Kraken. I don't think these first 4 games are indicative of how the whole season will go. In the long run. You wanted to say something, Sean?
Yeah, I had a friend who's an Islanders fan tell me that Jordan Eberle ring a shot off the post in the first game. I think it was his first shot, was the most Jordan Eberle thing he's ever seen. I'm just going to eat my words here. I was big on the McCann for the winger train, and he's been fine at center, I think. They really need to start clicking, but I'll eat my words. And here's something now. I don't know if you guys had this on your bingo cards or not. Vince Dunn, first fight in team history. Brandon Tanev, first multi-goal game and game-winning goal in team history. Carson Soucy, the first defenseman to score a goal in team history. Like, I love being proved right, but I'm being proved wrong left and right. And they really need to turn this around for me, let alone all the Kraken faithful. So I don't know if you guys had any thought that that's how it would kick off the season, but my eyebrows are raised. I'm scratching my head over here, man. Like, Tom, how you feeling with all this? What are your thoughts?
It's just so fun to watch, honestly. Like I'm enjoying every minute of it. You mentioned Vince done with the first fight. You also remember he had the first fight, and I'm pretty sure the only fight in preseason too. So clearly this guy has some hands to throw this season. It's unfortunate he's been out the last 2 games, but I really liked his play. I think he brings a lot of offensive upside as a defenseman, and he is clearly not afraid to stand up for his teammates and fire up the boys.
I just remembered, and I might be thinking of the wrong player, so forgive me, but I'm pretty sure I saw a clip of him and juniors getting into a fight and knocking out a player like after they got off the ice.
It was the AHL.
Yeah. And he just knocked him out. So I've talked all about how this is going to be his time to shine as an offensive defenseman. But I mean, he's got more bite than I think any of us realized. And I think it could take away a bit from his offensive production. You know, go for the hit instead of playing the puck might take away a couple chances. But, you know, it's good to see guys standing up for themselves early on this team, especially if they're going to be a physical team throughout.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we mentioned already, but we need to give a shout out to Ryan Donato for the first goal in franchise history. Just awesome. History just continues to be made. But we'll move on to the next topic in a sec. Do you have any last words, Adam?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out quickly to Alex Wenberg, because I feel like he is very underrated and he's actually been playing very well this year. I know he's been outscored 2-1 this year, but a 52.33% Corsi, no high danger goals against. They've given up some high danger chances, but everybody has on the Kraken. But this is a guy with a very high PDO as well of 0.965. Like Alex Wenberg, it seems like he's not going to put up, 40 points this year, or like he's not going to be a huge offensive driver, but he's going to be like that guy that you look at the end of the year and you go, I don't remember Alex Wenberg scoring 15 goals. One of those quiet players that will get like a 2 or 3 point night without anybody realizing. And he's been very good so far. He's just below 50% on the faceoff dot, but that also has to do with the fact that Seattle just got hammered tonight. So his numbers did go down a little bit with all the advanced stats, but that is somebody that is earning his keep. And I could see him moving up to the top line tomorrow when they play New Jersey, because they got to get something going offensively for those first 2 lines. And Wenberg's a guy that could drive offense and provide that little spark on that first line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many players this season that are, you look at their underlying numbers and what they're capable of and just analyzing, and it's so fun watching this, just all these new guys coming together who've never played hockey together before and just mixing up all these lines. And yeah, I love it. But we'll move on to the second discussion here. If you've been listening to the show, you know that we like Brandon Tanev over here. So we've dedicated this whole discussion, the second discussion of the show, to Brandon Tanev, who is the team's leading goal scorer and points getter through 4 games. He has 3 goals in his first 3 games. He had 3 goals, including 2 in the first, including the first Kraken lead and the first game-winning goal in history. So I am going to go to Sean first to just analyze. What have you thought of Brandon Tanev so far?
So I was saying this when we were talking a bit about guys wearing the A on their chest. One guy I would want would be an emotional leader. And I think that he is the emotional leader on that team, both by the energy he brings on the bench in the room, but by his play. You got a guy who can run around. He's got better speed than people probably give him credit for, because he's always on that third, borderline fourth line role. So you're not going to, he was playing with the Crosby, the Malkin, the Gensel last couple of years, right? So, and I feel like, no disrespect, I feel like not really many people knew him in Winnipeg, but you got a guy who can fly around out there. His physical play generates offense, and I've just been completely impressed. I knew I was going to like him off the bat, but he has blown me away so far. Like, if I had to choose a favorite Kraken, it's Brandon Tanev. Now, I got to know, and I'm going to read this off the rundown here. Quote, Brandon Tanev is like an egg salad. End quote. Adam, please explain this, because I love Brandon Tanev, but I don't like egg salad. I literally walked into my house today on my lunch break, and the first thing I smelled was egg salad, and I was like, I guess I'm eating out today. So please enlighten me.
So for normal people, Egg salad is kind of like that dish that you get at the barbecue. That's like that staple. It's like it can be a main meal. It can be that side dish, but you always know what you're going to get. You always know that egg salad is going to that you can rely on that egg salad. And Brandon Tanev is kind of like that. If he needs to be that starring role, he can be. If he needs, he can provide those bottom 6 minutes. He can spark the team. Like nothing sparks for me. Nothing sparks a barbecue like egg salad. It's just kind of like, if everything else isn't good at the barbecue for whatever reason, at least the egg salad is there. It's hard to mess up the egg salad. And Brandon Tanev, he just delivers, game after game, like the egg salad delivers time after time.
Incredible. Well, there you have it. Brandon Tanev is egg salad.
Invite me to some of these barbecues, man. I gotta try this egg salad. If you're really
a little bit of paprika in there, you're done. Good to go.
Chef Kierszenblat right here.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, speaking of Brandon Tanev, he's been great. He's been involved with shutting down some of the top players on the other team. He's reliable. Tonight, even in a bad game, 2 shots on goal, 1 hit. He plays the power play. He plays the penalty kill. 17-22 total. What more could you want from him? Just like egg salad, like I said.
Well, one thing I always notice when Brandon Tanev is out there, just the effort and the push and the drive that he has is so noticeable on the ice. He never gives up on any puck. He'll lay the hit every single time that he can. And I absolutely love the way he plays. And I think the Kraken should really build around that. And like Sean, you were mentioning before with the A's and the captaincy, I'm still pretty shocked he wasn't given an A, because through these first 4 games, I've really seen him as one of the leaders on this team, coming up in big moments and honestly just blowing everyone away. Like that highlight reel goal against Columbus, where did that come from? That was that little shake and bake backhand on what, I can't pronounce his name. I'm not even going to attempt it.
He's doing his best Jack Hughes imitation right there. Literally,
yeah. Jack Hughes at a sweet goal, and Kraken are going to see Jack Hughes tomorrow night. So I've loved Tanev's play so far. But big question here: do you think he can keep this up? Do you think he can keep producing at this rate, or do you think this is just coming out of the gate strong and this might wear off? What do you think, Sean?
I think that I had. I think I put out a tweet saying that after the first game, and I don't think he scored in that game, where I might be wrong on that, but where I said he's going to get 15 goals at least this season, just because of, you could just tell a guy who's that hungry on pucks, a guy who's that, as I said, drives the play so much like he does, it doesn't have to be a snipe. It could be a dirty goal. I think that he doesn't get enough credit as a goal scorer because of the physicality of his game. He scored the national championship winning goal for Providence College, and I'm pretty sure that was their first title in their history. And really quick, I think, and I mean this could be wrong, but according to Elite Prospects, TJ Oshie, now he's someone in terms of an emotional leader I can see them both compared to. Aside from the 15-16 season and the 13, and from 2013 to 15 with the Blues, 15-16 was with the Capitals, he hasn't worn an A. But you could see by how much passion he had when he helped set up Hendrix Lapierre for his first NHL goal. He drives the emotion of that team, not just with his play, but how he's in the room. And I see that exact same type of person and player to a degree, maybe not as much of a scoring touch as Oshie, and in Brandon Turbo Tanev.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. There's the whole, he really is a true leader. And again, I don't know why he hasn't been given an A. But hey, maybe he'll earn it for seasons in the future. But I'll ask you last on this topic, Sean, or sorry, not Sean, Adam. Do you think he will keep producing at this rate, or do you think he's going to slow down?
Well, the problem with Brandon Tanev is the way that he plays. He hasn't played an 82-game season in his career, and he's never gone over 14 goals. So it's very possible that he can eclipse the 15-goal mark and get closer to the 20, but we have to see how he holds up playing on the West Coast. He's played in the Eastern time zone most of his career. He hasn't played the Pacific Division, which is generally a little bit of a bigger division than the other ones. But Winnipeg was a team that was a big team and liked to hit, so he fit in very well there. Pittsburgh, there were a little bit of a problem there, but I think he's found kind of where he's going to be best is in Seattle. The issue with Brandon Tanev is that he makes $3.5 million on the cap, and he has what is it? One, two. So he's got 3 more seasons after this one at 3.5 for a fourth liner. Like, he's not going to be that. You can't really move Brandon Tanev up to the first and second line. He's got to be on those third and fourth lines just by the way he plays. But those are the type of players that you need, in playoff series, in late season games. Though that's where he's going to really step up. If he doesn't get injured, I think he's going to have a career year. But, he's already throwing his body a lot. He's got 12 hits already in 4 games. Like, that's a lot on the body. He's usually at around 200, over 200 hits a season. So we'll see if he can, I guess, maintain his health the whole year. But that's going to be the big question. Sean, you want to say something quick?
Yeah, I just want to counter that, because I think that for what he brings to the team, not just on the ice in the locker room, I think that that's a really good deal, and that could age pretty well. Again, it's incumbent upon him staying healthy, but through 3 games, I'm going to say, because that's what Hockey Reference is updated with, he's got a 57.4 Corsi. So he's as I said, he's driving, he's generating. And if I recall, last season, although abbreviated, as you said, he's had injury problems. He was on pace in terms of goals per game, assists per game, points per game for his best offensive year. So I definitely think that he can get to that point. And even if he were to, double-digit goals, no career highs, based on what he brings to the room, like players like him, he could score 10 points, 5 goals, 5 assists. But if he's the kind of player that is bringing that room together, especially if they have a tough year, first year, all new guys together for the most part, tough year, I think that he could prove himself well worth that $3.5 million. And at the very least, if, he ends up getting an extension and he's not performing offensively, you still want him in the room, it'll be a lot cheaper. So unless he really, really blows up, you're not, I think 3.5 is going to be his ceiling cap. I'm assuming the cap doesn't go higher than $1 million a year, which, we're should I say?
And hey, if he turns into one of these huge breakout stars like William Karlsson was on Vegas that year, that 3.5 million might be looking real nice in a season or two. But it's so early now that we can't even speculate on that, can we? So
it's tough because we have to have opinions and thoughts on this, but you kind of get stuck with the whole it's 4 games into the season. So it's kind of tough to have that balance. You don't want to get too crazy and not be taken seriously as writers, as members of the hockey media. So it's interesting, being in this for the first time, out of college and out of reporting on those sports. Just something I noticed.
All right, we'll move on to our final topic here. And this is another exciting one. So we've discussed this on the show a few times, but this is the last time we will be able to discuss this before it's happened. The Seattle Kraken have their home opener at Climate Pledge Arena this Saturday against the Vancouver Canucks. So we've been looking forward to this for a very long time. This is going to be a very fun game. I'd expect Vancouver's 1-1-1 through their first 3 games. The Kraken are 1-2-1. So, they're kind of hovering around the same record area there. So it'll probably be a crucial game for getting that early lead in the standings. But I will go to Adam. How about you first? Because you're closest to Vancouver. What do you expect from this home opener?
Well, this game is going to be very interesting, basically because you have the polar opposites in hockey. You have a team that's very defensive with not a lot of offense in Seattle. And then you have a team in Vancouver who has just said, we're not going to play defense this year. We're just going to win. We're going to try to win games, 6-5, which they've been trying to do this year. It hasn't worked out great. They're 1-1 it's worked out okay. They're 1-1, but it's not going to last all season. So it's going to be a real chess match to see if Seattle can contain Vancouver. Vancouver's going to have Brock Besser back in the lineup, which he hasn't played in the first 3 games. That's an additional offensive weapon. There's still talk that Yanni Gourde may be back for the home opener. we have no idea if that's going to happen or not, but that was kind of what was said before the season, that was the goal, was the home opener, that he was going to be back. So if he's there, that's going to provide some offense, but it's going to be a lot of hits from Seattle. They're going to try to wear down Vancouver because Vancouver is not the biggest team in the NHL, but it's going to lead up to, can Seattle minimize the high danger chances against, and can Philip Grubauer basically stand on his head during the game and keep it close?
What are you thinking, Sean? What do you expect to see on Saturday?
Well, I think that at this point in the season, Grubauer standing on his head is pretty par for the course. Was a 16-shot first period. They got outshot 13-1. That one being a turbo Tanev empty net goal the other night. I'm thinking that, if I didn't have to renew my passport and we weren't across 2 time zones, I think that we should me and Tom, producer Matthew and Adam, losing team buys dinner. I don't know. I think that'd be a good time, but I think it's going to be fun, and I think that it's going to be, you got to start, we're harping on Tanev, but his line, it was him, Geeky, and Donato. They've, I think, been the best line for the Kraken so far. You got that Schwartz and Eberle line is not scoring. They're snake bitten, and that has to change. I think that if at least one of them doesn't get a goal in this game, it's going to be quite concerning. I know for the Rangers, Lafreniere scored in their 3rd game, I want to say. And that's huge for him because you want to get that confidence early. And I feel that if guys like Eberle and Schwartz, even though they're not veterans, coming off the year that they've had, they need to get that confidence early. And then they can really start being the guys that the Kraken need. Jared McCann, he's played well. He's got, I think, what is it? Is he a point per game right now? I think. I was got a couple assists, but it's good that this Tanev line is clicking. I really hope we find a fun name for that if they stick together for like another 10 games. They're clicking, and that's fine, but they are your 3rd line. They should not be scoring all your goals. I think there's a stat in here was they contributed for, I forgot the stat. So, they've scored 5 of 8 Kraken goals coming into the game, I think was the statistic. And
Jared McCann does have 4. He's 4 for 4.
Okay, so he's doing his thing, but you need, and depth scoring is great. It's a great sign considering how the rest of the team is doing, but you need these guys, the top guys, to be the top guys because your depth guys aren't going to be on every night. And they're the guys who are going to be relied on for the defensive play. So if they're not on offensively, they have that to fall back on, but your top guys need to start scoring. So this is a huge game for the Kraken's top guys, their top line. And I'm going to throw in there Mark Giordano as well. He needs to have at least a point in this game. At least. A goal would be preferable.
Yeah, you got to hope all the big stars are going to come out, especially for what will be the first time they ever play in Seattle. So they got to make a great impression there. And you guys have also been mentioning Yanni Gourde. That's another very exciting thing for Kraken fans to look forward to because Schwartz and Eberle haven't been able to get the puck in the net yet, but I'm assuming that's going to change because both of them are pretty high caliber players. And when you add someone like Yanni Gourde to that lineup as well, this team does have a lot of firepower, and we haven't really seen it yet. But I think they will be a lot better than we've seen so far. And their home opener is a perfect time to kind of unleash that and let that fly.
I think I recently, NHL 22 came out, downloaded that, and everyone's healthy in that. And I'm bringing this up because, I had trouble trying to make a lineup that I liked from a realistic perspective based on the personnel who was actually up here in the game. So I'm really curious to see how they're going to fit him in, who they're going to scratch, who's maybe going to be rotated based on their performance when he comes back. Because I definitely struggled. I also struggled with figuring out who I wanted to play with who I didn't want to drop to a 4th line, 3rd line role, when you want to keep that Brandon Tanev line together. How are you going to work that? Because I think that you don't want that to drop to your 4th line because you want XYZ playing 30. So if that's your 3rd line, then you're dropping guys from 2nd to 4th or moving guys from 4th to 2nd. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Dave Haxtell And even if Ron Francis has, how much input he may have in how this lineup's going to look when Gourde comes back from injury.
Mm-hmm. And there's still going to be a couple of games here to prove who's going to drop on and off the lineup. And also tonight, Barré-Boulet was out, replaced with Cole Lind, who made his debut. So they're also experimenting with some stuff further down the lineup. I personally really like the way Barré-Boulet had been playing, but I hope he gets back in there. But it's going to be so cool to just see how Dave Haxtell experiments with these lines because we're so early into it.
ABB was I'm pretty sure he was the only forward or only player on the Kraken who played under 10 minutes in the last game against the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think I liked for the most part how Cole Lind played. I thought he was noticeable for the most part in all right way, but I'm with you I liked ABB those first couple games he played.
Mm-hmm. And he had that nice assist in his debut with the Kraken. A beauty. I hope he gets back in the lineup because I think he deserves a shot there. And when Gourde comes back, I think that'll be, I don't know how much of a connection they had, but both being from the Tampa Bay Lightning, there's some sort of connection there. So,
the Lightning wish they had ABB back now that Kucherov's gone. He's out with injury.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I bet.
Adam's smiling over there. You can't see it if you're listening on the podcast. Yeah. Adam's smiling at that.
I mean, I wrote an article about cap circumvention last year during the playoffs, but whatever. It's not like anybody learns in the NHL or cares about what's going on. So
quick plug.
I find it nuts because Seattle was third on the priority list to claim him off waivers, and Buffalo and Anaheim were ahead, and they both passed on Barré-Boulet, which I don't really understand it. I don't know why, especially a team like Buffalo. Why would you not want to go? And I don't know.
Fun on Anaheim. He would be really fun with Zegras, McTavish.
Yeah, I don't think we have to question anything that Buffalo does because if you just look at their lineup, it's obvious that they're just trying to lose every single game. It's we usually see interesting runs to the playoffs, like battles for the last playoff spot. But this year we got the Arizona Coyotes versus Buffalo in the most intense battle for last place probably in NHL history.
Yeah, but
and they just played the other day. What was it?
And Buffalo's like the best team in the league.
They were +5.
Yeah,
maybe they didn't need Barré-Boulet.
What does Kevin Adams know that we don't? What is keeping Jack Eichel out of the lineup makes them a 2-0 team with a +5 goal differential, I guess.
Yeah. It's Kyle Okposo, man, all day. That contract is finally living up to its deal.
That's why we're here and he's there, right?
Yeah. GM of the year.
Oh, geez.
All right. Before we wrap this up, I'm sure we've probably predicted this in one of the previous shows about who's going to score the first Kraken goal at Climate Pledge Arena. But now that we've actually seen them play 4 games in, we can take another guess at it and one that we'll actually remember. So, Adam, do you want to go first? Who's going to score the first goal for the Kraken in Seattle?
Well, this is hard to predict, obviously, because we also don't know what the lineup is going to look like, who's going to be in, who's going to be out. But if we're going with first goal at home in Kraken history, I got to think it's going to be a guy like Alex Wennberg. I don't know. I have these like players of the week in my head that I just feel like kind of deserve a little bit of credit. And Alex Wennberg, he's done very well so far this season. He's been one of their best players. He doesn't get appreciated enough. And I feel like if he especially is on that top line, which I predict he'll be on tomorrow or the next game, especially if they lose against New Jersey and he's not on there, he'll be on the first line. But that's a guy that I could see definitely bringing his offensive flair and scoring the first goal at home.
All right. I like it.
I'm guessing
Sean?
that we can skip Sean because his is going to be Brandon Tanev.
I feel personally attacked, Adam. I don't know where you got that from. I don't know what you've been listening to for the you're right. Okay, listen. In the comments, if you want to shred me, if you want to agree with me, comment below. Reach out to us on Twitter. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to debate. I'd love to agree. I look for guys that I relate to. in terms of liking hockey players. My favorite hockey player will forever be Ryan Callahan. Heart and soul guy. He could score, blocked everything, through the body. He was only 5'10", if I recall. 5'10". Brandon Tanev, to me, is a heart and soul player. He plays the game the right way. His penalty minutes are low for someone who hits as much as he does. So he does it right. I don't think he's been suspended. Don't quote me on that. I think it's going to be a greasy goal in front, rebound. Brandon Tanev. You're right. I love this guy's game. You know, if Brandon Tanev's off, if Brandon Tanev is out of the lineup, the team is going to be struggling right off the bat. He could have 20 goals by the end of the year. He could have 3. Hopefully it's 20. But if Brandon Tanev isn't there, he doesn't give that emotion. Even if he's a little off, he's leading by example with the way that he plays. And he's going to get rewarded on the score sheet. He's going to score that first Kraken goal at home.
Can you just imagine the arena erupting for Brandon Tanev gets the first goal in Seattle? That would just be...
The picture.
I think everyone just loves Tanev now. And they loved him before he started, and he's just proven it with each game that goes by.
Yeah.
But for my prediction, I'm going to go a bit different here. I'm going to say Yanni Gourde, just to go bold there. Makes his Kraken debut at Climate Pledge Arena, comes out and scores the first goal. That's what I'm sticking with, and I I hope I'm right, because that would also be extremely exciting. So
GG's, I like that.
We'll see. We'll have to keep track. Who did we all guess? I don't think anyone got it right that it was Ryan Donato.
Nope.
No, there's no.
Which, I mean, we should have, because didn't he score the first goal in preseason history as well?
No, that was Riley Sheehan.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he was assisting on the first goal. I remember that.
Maybe
Wasn't he?
can't even
I don't
remember.
know. I might be just like losing my mind here. I just remember, maybe, I don't know. I'm pretty sure he assisted on the first preseason goal as well.
I don't remember exactly. I think you might be right. I just remember at first in preseason that 13, 14, 15 line, Tanev, Nate Bastian, and Riley Sheehan was clicking pretty well. And, I guess he found a home with the pairing he's at now. But that was a good line during preseason, the 1 or 2 games I saw them together.
All right. We will wrap it up. I'll say one last thing. I loved the fighting tonight by the Kraken. Who was it? Alexiak and Bastian. That was awesome. Made a 6-1 loss, still entertaining to watch. So I hope to see more of that from the Kraken. I love the physicality.
I was completely wrong. It was Riley Sheehan from Nathan Bastian and Brandon Tanev. But Ryan Donato did score the 3rd goal of the game.
There you go.
And there.
It's the fighting thing was, I feel like it was organic. I know the Alexiak one was definitely organic, and I know that Thompson went after Bastian, but that happened because of him getting into it with Giroux, and you protect your captain, right? Unless it's Zdeno Chara, 9 feet tall, reach of a gazelle, right? But I mean, to me, that's not it's 2-0. Let's get this going. Even though it was periods later, that's still organic. And as someone who's a bit more old school with their taste in hockey, I think that A, it was fine, and B, it was good on Bastian for being willing to go, even though it didn't seem like he had a choice. Tomer kind of grabbed him pretty good, but still good on him for, doing what he had to do there.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. I'd love to see a fight at that home opener. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. We will wrap it up. This has been a good show, and I'm just so happy we're actually talking hockey now. So this is awesome. So thank you for tuning into this week's episode of THW What's Kraken. We hope you enjoyed the show and look forward to next week, as we'll be breaking down any Seattle Kraken news and rumors that come up over the next few days. Again, make sure to check out our written work at thehockeywriters.com and follow the show on Twitter at What's Kraken Show. That's our new account, as well as our personal accounts at Tom Pepper, at Raggio9124, and at Adam K. Blatt. From Tom, Sean, and Adam, this has been THW What's Kraken.